Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. There's some heavyweight news for you here, which might raise your eyebrows, maybe even as high as mine were raised. And that is that Mike Coppinger over at the Ring Magazine website is saying that they are finalising a deal for Moses Itauma to face Dillian Whyte on August the 16th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Now, let's talk about the old versus the new. I mean, we know about Itauma. He is a blue-chip prospect, incredible potential, but hasn't faced anyone yet. So you could say that the potential is there for a world heavyweight champion. Let's put it that way. But he hasn't faced anyone, has he? Not yet. Dillian Whyte's faced just about everyone you can think of. And while he hasn't always won, he's been knocked out in his 3 defeats to Anthony Joshua for the British title. Alexander Povetkin knocked him out, and then he got revenge on Povetkin by knocking him out. That was Povetkin's last fight. And then when Dillian got his only shot at a world title, that was the WBC belt against Tyson Fury, and he got knocked out in 6. So, yeah, he's vulnerable. And I think more than ever, with all the wear and tear, all the miles, all the training camps, all the gym wars, I think he's absolutely there for the taking against some young gun. His punch resistance has looked very, very suspect, Dillian Whyte. Lest we forget also, he's had his issues with PEDs, and he's kind of got off lightly, in my opinion, because he's failed a few PED tests. The last one was when just before he was about to fight Anthony Joshua in a rematch. And then he kind of disappeared. Unlike, say, Conor Benn, he didn't start, shouting and mouthing off about his innocence. He just disappeared. It was radio silence. And then he emerged in Castlebar in Ireland for a little non-event against a completely unambitious Christian Hammer. And then he had a far more difficult evening against Ebenezer Tete, who is, 36 going on 76. And Tete gave him a good fight. Tete would eventually, afterwards, would get knocked out in a round or stopped in a round by Fraser Clark. Maybe a little prematurely, but he got floored and stopped and everything. So Dillian's form, I mean, he's there for the taking. He is there for the taking. And I can fully understand why Frank Warren and Queensberry, who handle Itauma, would want to get Dillian's scalp, get it on Itauma's record for a 20-year-old to have a name that big. A guy who, despite his defeats, has scored some really excellent wins as well. That's good stuff. That's what you want to do. It's been happening since boxing started that younger fighters look to pick up older names who are past it and put them on their record. And that's obviously what they're doing. Now, Dillian, of course, will say, no, I've got plenty left. I can beat this kid, so what? And they must be paying him some serious money. He's going to think, I've still got a big left hook. I can, although his left hook did look a fair bit slower against Tete anyway. He looked old in that fight against Tete, Dillian. But maybe he wasn't motivated. Maybe he'll be motivated for this. I don't know. But he'll think, I can take this kid out. Who's this kid for? He's fought no one. Oh, he's a big puncher. Who cares? I mean, Dillian Whyte is fearless. He will fight anyone. He's an absolute fighting man. From a very rough background, very sort of underprivileged background. And fighting is just second nature to him because he's had to fight for everything. Now, on the same card, like I say, August the 16th is the proposed date. You're also going to get Nick Ball defending his WBA featherweight title, isn't it? He's going to take on Australia's Sam Goodman, and that's probably going to be the chief support. This is according to Coppinger over at the Ring Magazine. And also, Anthony Kakache and Ray Ford will meet at junior lightweight. Now, Kakache, very big for that, junior lightweight, super featherweight division. He's rated number 3 by the Ring. And Ford is 10th, according to the Ring. Now, I would say Ford, although he hasn't done a great deal in the 130-pound division. Nevertheless, he probably belongs further up the top 10. Certainly talent-wise. Ray Ford is a very, very good fighter. He lost his featherweight title to Nick Ball by, wafer thin fight that was. And he just said, I couldn't make the weight. I'm knackered at the weight. He didn't even want to fight at featherweight anymore after he won his belt, his WBA belt. But they offered him a lot of money, so he made the weight one more time and lost the fight to Ball. But it was a very, very close fight. So, yeah, I mean, that's a good matchup. Kakache and Ford's a good matchup. Ball and Goodman, I would expect Ball to win that. But those are the three fights that have been mentioned for the card so far. So, I mean, don't forget, I mean, I'm saying Ball could beat Goodman, but Goodman's undefeated in 20. He hasn't got much of a pop. He's only got eight KOs, I think, in 20 wins. But this is going to be his first title shot, and he was meant to go in with Inoue, and then the fight was cancelled because he suffered a cut eye in sparring, and then he was cancelled twice, if memory serves. So yeah, I mean, all right, he's undefeated. Stick him in with Nick Ball, see what we got, But yeah, this is an intriguing fight. Like I say, the very new in Moses Itauma at 20. Facing the, I don't know, what's Dillian now, 36, 37, facing the old, And if he gets rid of Whyte early, it looks good in his record. And if Whyte takes him a few rounds, or, even let's say Dillian Whyte won a decision over Moses Itauma. I don't think it's going to happen, but let's say he did. So what? He loses his unbeaten record. But you learn, you know what I mean? I'm hoping Whyte, even if he loses, will be able to take Moses into later rounds just to give him a bit of experience. And if Whyte wins, great, fair enough. I've got no horse in the race. But the old versus the new, those matchups are always curiosities, I think. I think they're, it could be a measuring stick if Whyte can survive any kind of early onslaught as to how good Moses is when things are not going his way, when he's not knocking people out with one punch, So let me know what you think about this. Do you think it's a good matchup? Do you think it's a bad matchup? What do you think? Let me know. Thanks for watching the video, and if you liked it, please hit the like button because they count the likes, and also hit the subscribe button if you don't mind too. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you later. Bye for now.